Hey everybody, and welcome to another RCT2 review. Today we're looking at Tivoli Utrecht by Faas. This is a recent gold-winning effort on New Element, and as the name might imply, this park takes some influences from Tivoli Gardens in Denmark, while having a setting in Utrecht in the Netherlands. This is where Faas has spent the better part of the last decade living, so as the README suggests, this is sort of an homage to his time there and has lots of little references to inside jokes and just references and things that you might not otherwise pick up on, but there's lots of little details throughout. So we're going to take a look at some of those as well as look at the park itself, which is really, really nice. I've done a couple of reviews of Foss's Parks on our channel so far, and I always appreciate the style. It's a little bit smaller than kind of I typically like to build, and a lot of what you see out there, but I feel like it's consistent across the board and has this kind of nice, I don't know, micro type style to it, almost like model making, and I appreciate just the overall look of how that turns out. So right here, we'll start off at the park entrance that is where the save file opens to. You've got this nice detailed ornate entrance with the archway and the towers and everything. Very reminiscent of Tivoli in Denmark. I think I went through this entrance when I visited as well. A nice variety of style too. So you've got these buildings here in the middle, and you've also got this more modern kind of curved facade on this guy on the corner here. Nice steel art at the side there. And then if you spin it around, you get this kind of nice curved facade on this building with the observation tower coming up through the middle. So coming on in to the park here, we've got these two flat rides right off the bat, and carrying through to our first coaster. We'll also take a look here at this bumper cars. I do like the facade over the top of the existing bumper car roof, but also kind of leaving this cut out at the top so you can still see that glass roof, which I think does look good in certain circumstances, and this is one of those circumstances. The Wild Mouse, pretty standard stuff here as far as this goes. A couple of issues with some block breaks here, but it runs just fine, and it's a cute little ride. Nice supports for everything, kind of fits the overall vibe of the park. Along to this side, we've got our not the largest coaster, but probably the signature historical coaster anyway, using the scenic railway vehicles that I think Base Game might have put together. I'm not totally positive on that, but they look really nice here. Very much influenced by the classic scenic railway at Tivoli Gardens. And what I think is done well on this one is the facade of the actual mountain. So it's a combination of raised land that you can see here if you take out the scenery, as well as some of these custom 1K rock blocks and everything throughout. And it's always a bit of a challenge I've found to do these rides in a way where it looks kind of suitably fake, but still has that sort of mountain vibe to it. So I think this one's done well, and I like the look overall. All the little details, the flags and little arches and stuff. I like this yellow, blue, red repeating pattern down here as well, and just the various little kind of parts and pieces that add to the facade of it. Now, we did skip over this little concert venue, which I do like. This is kind of a neat pattern on top of the roof here as well. So if we continue through on this side, we get a little bit of a taller building here that's housing the car ride, wrapping around through these gardens, which are set up very nicely, kind of with the flowers coming from the trees, some of these little planters as well, and these this rock wall. I do kind of like this rock wall texture just for more of that sort of rubble natural look. Turns out very nicely. Now, on this side, we have the second entrance to the park, which is sort of the larger entrance, but maybe not quite as iconic as maybe the other side. But it does have this nice carousel that you can see from the street, which is pretty cool. Bike parking also on the outside here, as you would expect from the Netherlands. That's all very, very nice. This fountain right as you walk in, a couple of food stalls that are nicely nestled into the building itself. I love these three little buildings here, these octagonal buildings that have the food stalls sticking up out of the top, giving it some detail there. The ice cream stall, the funnel cake one actually adds a lot, kind of a nice deco detailing almost, and then our gift shop with the information stall over the top as well. Little Tika or Tilt-A-Whirl there, also a slingshot, and coming across over into the Asian area, which we're going to pick up in just a little bit. But first, go over to this side. This is a fun addition here. This is a Nautic Jet. If you have not ever seen a Nautic Jet or ridden one, it's a self-powered ride where you get in the ride, you pull a string overhead, and it automatically lifts you up backwards in this little boat, and finally releases down over a jump and into a body of water. Turns out I am fairly over the weight limit on these things, but still ridden one. Nearly sunk the boat, I feel like, but it was a good time. And they're cool rides. They're definitely a not in America sort of thing, but I do appreciate coming across these in Europe. This is a nice little addition there for sure. And a cool hack as well. I have a Wacky Worm on this side, which Wacky Worms in this game are tough because the scale is so large compared to the other ones, you know. In RCT, well, in real life, I suppose, a Wacky Worm would probably be about half the size of this wild mouse. Instead, it takes up about the same spot, same overall size, and that's just because we don't have the pieces to do it any differently. So it's you know, it's a bit of a give and take as far as that goes. What I like to see is these put far away from other rides of similar scale, so apart from other coasters and things like that. So that way it comes across a little bit more like own scale, just because you're not comparing it up against something else. So in this instance, that was how it was done, and I think it looks pretty nice because of it. I love the little tree here and the mushrooms and everything. Very kind of whimsical overall look as well. And as we move along, we get to a couple of other nice little fun details, sort of this funhouse looking facade here. We do have a maze inside on this one if we get rid of the overall scenery. And then on this one here, we got this nice slide coming down the side here. I actually really like how this nestles into the overall building shape and everything. I think that's a pretty cool look for the whole thing. I don't recall having done that in Tivoli, but it does look really, really nice. And then more of these food stalls built into the buildings. That's a good use of the food counter, so you can basically theme it however the heck you want. And then we have these nice little scenic picnic type spots. This was my favorite of the little eating areas where we have the step down right along the water. That's kind of a nice picturesque area. Sit there, watch the coaster perhaps. Or this one here, which is up on the second level. Kind of cool place to dine out. And then now we wrap around and we're back to our little Asian area. So this is the last section of the park. Got some more food stalls here in the center. Using those Asian food stalls as part of the theming. Those were very nicely detailed. We had a lot of them in the base game, so you could really do a lot with those as far as theming goes. But we have our coaster here. So the coaster is based off of, among other things, Demon at Tivoli Gardens. I get a lot of vibes from Insane Speed at Jafunsen Fancy World in Taiwan. It's got the same sort of overall layout and version, everything else with the loop, the dive loop, and then some interlocking corkscrews that we'll see in a little bit. This one's called Samurai. Nice supports overall, looking pretty good. You know, I like the way that Faas builds where it's sort of bridging the difference between a more simulated realistic nature and more of the kind of arcade style playing more towards the base game. So, like, you're not going to see transfer tracks or in most cases the default station platform and everything is still there. But you are going to see the nice custom scenery, the realistic supports and things like that. So it has that nice sort of half and half type vibe, which I think makes it feel a little more nostalgic to me. And again, the scale is always nice. Like I started doing building in this way where all of the inversions were small and all the coasters, you know, even the largest of the coasters was not, you know, too large overall, but it still kind of fit in this overall scale and vibe. You know, my style has since gotten a little larger, but I like how this still holds to that nature of just very small, very cute and almost model-esque type nature of theming. So that's the park right there, and now we have all of the context around it. There's actually quite a bit of context around it. Faas did say in his readme that this park took nearly a decade to put together, and you can kind of see it in some cases where you have various levels of detail for various sections. Like, for example, we've got our reasonably nice office block here, which would have been cool to see some interior stuff on there. But we go over to here where we have some absolutely gorgeous looking buildings here with some excellent detailing on all of these elements. Love all of the signage and some of the trim pieces and everything. If you spin around on the back, on a lot of these, you're going to see various little cutaway view things and just fun little details like what's the horse doing here. So it's just lots of fun bits and pieces to discover as you go through the whole thing. We've got a parking area here with a green roof on top, nice garden throughout the whole space. This would be a pretty excellent spot to come sit and watch the park, which clearly they've set that up for with the glass panels here and some benches. That would be my picnic spot, I'm sure. Now, if you check out the README when you do download this park, there's a lot of comparisons between the real life buildings and the buildings that were recreated here. I didn't actually look close enough to see if this slide is part of that, but I really hope it is, because I would love to do just a random slide in the downtown area. I feel like this is another one of those not in America sort of things. But it's pretty cool overall. So lots of nice little seating areas and other things like that as we head up into the area up here. A little skate park in the corner. This one's cool. I love the structure of the building here showing through with the diagonal molding pieces. And then if you turn on this side, you've got this great green, red, and yellow section. This feels very university-esque. I'm not sure if it is or not. I think one of these two sections might be. But I do like the look of all that. You do have a station note right here going down to the underground area where we have a couple of different parts and pieces. So we've got the bike lanes, or not bike lanes, but bike parking area here, which is very appropriate for the Netherlands. That look overall. This is some cool public art I use with the Haunted Mansion type track. Cool. And then a lot of just repeating buildings here. Some pretty interesting stuff. We've got this like teapot looking art piece here. You've got the I have here called Urban Mistakes, and nice tower crane as well, and lots of little parts and pieces. Big fan of the use of the invisible color option for the tram lanes here. This is just water coaster track here with the cross ties done in invisible color. So that way you can see just the rails. That's done really well. Nice rainbow crosswalk here. This feels very Dutch as we go through excuse me, this whole area with the paddle boats and everything. Nice little walk down here at the water level itself, and then the main walkway and sidewalk spaces up above. Love all the bikes that are down here in the canal. I'm sure that's a pretty common thing, especially in College Town. And carrying through all the way to the end. I do love all the little details. Got the wall art and everything. All the little bits and pieces. If you spin around on this side, you get all these different things. So this little club here, using Rumi's dancing peeps, which are still always unsettling. Look at them. Cannot miss the giant zucchini sculpture. We go right there. A couple little clubs and other things. If you go look at all the different Frozen staff, you will see lots of little clickable things throughout the whole space. So I always like to do that at the very end, is go through the staff listing and then see all the different details and stuff that I missed on the whole thing. But a big signature tower here, which is getting some refurb at the moment with all this scaffolding around the bottom of it. Here's a detail that I really like that I haven't necessarily seen in many places before. So we got the horse statue here, and then we have this knight entertainer that's frozen on top of it. So some kind of a ruling party, I suppose, riding the horse on the statue. I had never seen that combo done, but I think that's pretty well done in this instance. This is a nice plaza in general with all the little eateries and everything. Very cozy almost. Nice cutaway here with the kind of hall of auditorium space as well. This is kind of a neat look with the glass looking down into it. That would be a pretty neat space, I'm sure. And pretty sizable building on this side as well. This, not quite sure what type of building it is. I do love the restrooms here. You'll see these in a bunch of different spots all the way around this map. But this is quite nice. And then our last little area over here that we haven't necessarily gotten to yet. Got this, I guess, canal type area here with some green space. Love this little pop-up restaurant. This one is maybe one of my favorite spots on the map. I just, I don't know, it works for me. I like this little space. Got kids playing soccer out here in the corner. And then a tram-only lane with some neat little billboards and, I guess, protesting of some type here. We green alternative, and I love the shell ad with the S having fallen. So that's a little clever dig there. And just more work having taken place here as we're building the, was either building the road or taking it up. I'm not sure which one, but guys having some trouble in the porta potty, it seems. But lots of little details, as you can see. And like I said, it's very worth, if you have some time, to download the park and check it out. You'll catch all the little things like this car that's on fire, and this guy's having a bad day, but this green car really just doesn't seem to care. But that's a nice little fun touch as well, and lots of details throughout. So always do appreciate a good park from Faas, and this is one of the larger ones that has been put out for a little bit, and hopefully we'll see some more soon. I know this one took a little while, but as do most labor of love type parks, they always take a lot of effort and time just to get it exactly right, because you want to keep tweaking it the whole way through. So I appreciate that Faas made the decision to put pencils down and submit the park and get it out there, and I think it's a well-deserving gold winner as well. I will put the link to the download of this park in the description. You will need Open RCT2 to download this as well, or to view it, and I will put the link to that as well in the description, so definitely check those things out. A couple things as well, if you have any parks that you would like me to review or add to the list, please do let me know. I am also kind of working my way through the backlog of parks that have been released since I was last doing reviews, so those are kind of the next up as well. Also, let me know what you think about the audio. I've been trying to find the right level of music volume because I kind of like the RCT sound ambience in the background, but I didn't want to go too heavily so that it overpowered everything. I know the last video was maybe a little much, so next time we'll hopefully keep it around this level here if that's what you guys think works well. As always, I would hope to see you around the Discord. I'll have a link to that in the description as well, and there will be more videos on the way. So, until next time, thank you all very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye now.